Pick up a piece of paper and answer the question. You can take as much time as you need. You obviously don't have to answer it if you don't want to, but anything you can share on this topic would be very appreciated. Said 2 minutes ago you're gonna get up and move, so do it. Just keep breathing through it. All the shit that they did. It's fun right there. The body releases the stress idea. Neck pain, tummy pain. It will all be erased because I can fantasize about the day when they will have to take their first dose.
10B, 10B. 96. Oh. I want to see your O faces, ladies. Oh. Excuse me, ma'am. You have a lot of cards out here right now. This one looks like there's a mark on it. This one looks like there's a mark on it.
Pick up a piece of paper and answer the question. When did you first realize that education might be your calling? I tend to believe that things work in threes. If something happens to you once or twice, it's hard to ignore. But a third time, ignore that and you might have lifelong regret. I was curious to work with children with disabilities in a sports setting. Having been always athletic, both recreational and competitive, this seemed like a natural fit. But what I didn't realize was the positivity and support that these children gave each other. We were going to play basketball, volleyball, and paddleball with children and teenagers with cognitive and developmental disabilities. Some had physical needs. Most had coordination problems, but all of them were huge supporters of each other, and I recognized that I really enjoyed myself and wanted to do more. And since I wanted to be around kids, understanding them, being a positive influence in their lives, that's when I first considered teaching special education. If only for the fact that I had learned something so much in such a brief moment, it hit me. I consider that impact. While volunteering for various charities that dealt with homeless and mental illness, small acts of kindness really go a long way. What I considered so easy was, again, impactful for someone else. And this positivity rippled through me. It almost didn't make sense not to do something in this field. To feel that empowered over behaviors and actions and words that I could use on a daily basis and have such an amazing reaction, effect, feedback, that was an intoxicating feeling. I think the third thing, though, that really shook me was the idea of a mistake. When I was younger and going to church, we were asked to think about the world around us and share one object or memory that reminded us that Jesus loved us, was making himself known to us in our day-to-day actions. For me, being in front of any group of people was extremely nerve-wracking, and I definitely dreaded it. Anticipating the worst, knowing that I would have to speak up. The concept dawned on me when I was in school, writing with a pencil and using the eraser. Getting a little upset over the fact I could not erase every single mark. And there was a reminder, a very faint gray line that remained no matter how hard I scrubbed that eraser and pressed it into the paper, so much so that I ended up tearing it. Knowing what I know now about how memories stick, especially when there's strong emotions present, not making the connection to the feeling of terror, felt an unease having to talk in front of a group of people and explain my idea. At the same time, all ideas were well received. The feedback from this minister in particular was always kind, courteous, polite, and he had children that were a little younger than me. I remember being told if ever lost, go find someone with children. This meant that they were good people. The only focus was to be loud enough so that everyone in the congregation could hear me. Since every week every pew was filled, I would clear my throat. I saw Jesus in an eraser when I was doing my writing in school. What is it that has kept you in the profession of special education when the burnout rate, told to me when I had started college, was 5 years? That moment when somebody does not understand something and they get it, a light bulb going off, an aha moment, that is probably the most incredible feelings I've ever had. The pleasure of experiencing. I call it a transitional shift, since in one moment there is nothing and then there's something. A eureka. And there is a big sigh of release from the body and the mind when somebody understands something, especially if they've been struggling to get it for a very long time, and especially if it's a child. Did you just notice you were talking about the eraser? Then you went into a whole different avenue of questioning. Can we get back to that, please? Remember, pick up a piece of paper, answer the question. Share whatever you'd like, but try to stay on topic. If the goal is to make a friend, you want to make sure that they understand. Your attention is all on them.
The fourth type of symptom is sudden rushes of anger, irritability, feeling jittery, always on alert, always on the lookout for danger. This is called hyperarousal, and loud noises or a dry...
What really shook me was the idea of a mistake. When I was younger and going to church, we were asked to think about the world around us and share one object or memory that reminded us that Jesus loved us. With consciousness that you're doing it, radical acceptance in psychology, which was achieved when I changed every aspect of my life to deal with the head trauma, the PTSD, chronic pain, nerve damage, and vestibular issues I faced, as I maneuver in a world differently now. But what wasn't understood continuously is the non-acceptance that violence happened to my students and that kids with special needs deserve a classroom. So let's fast forward to this. That reminded us that Jesus
was making himself known to us in our day-to-day action and experiences. For me, being in front of any group of people was extremely nerve-wracking.
when I was doing my writing in school, because mistakes are okay. The eraser allows us to make the mistake and have a do-over, but there's also a line left behind so that we don't make the same mistake again. That thin gray line, so that we do not get stuck in loops of redoing and redoing and redoing, so that we get so frustrated. Whether these mistakes are small little editing problems and writing in school, child's classwork, or major mistakes, we must learn from them all. And it is not good enough to just say, we will be damned to repeat them if we ignore what have been woefully cast aside in the past. Instead, I look to the future, so that it is a brighter day with hope, love, faith, charity, and simplicity. And ever since that day, I have always enjoyed writing with a pencil and an eraser. That is the reminder, every day being a school teacher, that mistakes are not only okay, they're necessary to get through this life with constant learning. 1, 2, 3. If you deny the truth that happens to you every day,
you're also denying the truth that happens to others. These experiences are not isolated. If someone did it to you, they probably did it to someone else, and they will certainly do it again. That is what education has taught me. That is what healthcare has taught me, because they both taught me stigma in the flesh repeatedly, bringing up past memories of violence and assault from 2012, 13, 14, and 15. For a long time, numbers were difficult because of the repetition of stories connected to violence, dates, medical records, incident reports. And because it is my job to record evidence to justify every decision, did they not think that their ill will made with precision was not going to sink in, and eventually it spews up like any natural element in this world, a volcano? The corruption that is happening in my personal, private, safe space, my home, through my television. So let's sound the alarms. Their harm we will disarm if we can learn to manage the carnage that they deliver with consciousness. Don't motherfucking tell me I'm pissed. It's a feeling that my students got dissed, and it was done so easily. Lack of knowledge, lack of desire. But now I'm going to be living easy breezily because I found a way to get it out. Just a return to self. Self-expression, self-love, self-care. Thank you to those who saved those boys in Thailand. It reminded me and my body that there is still love out there. These tears are nothing but a moment to capture. Let's go back to Bible class. That means making sure the belief will never be remastered into some phony fabrication tapestry. Our love of imagery. Oh, how I hate the scene. And now, a final return back to me.
Whew, always looked up. I'm not sure if you can get any more symbols than that. Symbols like the flag. Why we honor those that give their lives. Whew, back spasms to the left. Back spasms to the right. Hold it. You can make beautiful it's gonna be my tool to get through everything in life. See? It's a choice. That's right, you gotta do it right.
Not until it's safe, it's all clear, you hear? Moving on to chants and cheers. Because what they did was so dumb. I love knowledge. Education is for everyone, not just some. How dare they go to ridiculous spaces? Their disgraces, I'll wipe off their faces. With a smile. With a laugh. Because I know how to take this trauma and then cut it in half. Until you can sit with it, their drama. A major gaffe. Got my voice back. Meaning the defenses have been all laid down and now we go on the attack. Notice how we always ask each other, what do you do? What kind of work you into? My focus is trauma 24/7 because I want to beat the drama. How do we best understand heaven? It's all about those who get let in. Wouldn't the fear of eternal damnation set you straight? 7 is heaven, forever and ever, like a vow is number 8. Where to put these flashbacks coming at me, a constant attack. Up at 4 a.m. dealing with them again. Create a code so thoughts have a way to let go until the next one begins. So aware at 7 p.m., meaning the number is a date. So many numbers of assaults, medical records, getting sick of all of them. So aware at 7 p.m., meaning the number like a date, so many assaults, incident reports, medical. Oh my goodness. Oh, how I retort, getting sick of repeating. So a final time to demonstrate all of it. The only thing wrong with me are between the hours of 10 and 3. I mean, 10 and 2. Is that everything? Because to remind myself that everything is an opportunity to do, to make sense and to follow. This is the safest driving position that I'll never let go, that I'll always know, because somebody taught me how to do this when I was a kid. These are the memories that are gonna stick. Haven't you recalled the way people you wanna talk to you? Don't you know all the ways that someone's gonna talk to you? Let me repeat that and try to do it faster. All the ways you want someone to talk to you. What you want to hear is how you pull through. Sadness in a child, their constant booze. I have to listen to them until it's over, because trauma will fall, and this is what you do. Hold on to everything that gives you love. Why, I'm gonna remember the person that is above. Who tops it off, who were the teaching tools, who taught you all how to do and redo. I want you thinking about everything I say. Reverberate until the repeating is in your head, your heart, and now let's sway. Move your body this way. Because I'm going to be talking about safe learning spaces to work and to play.